It was the investment in myself.
Yes.
It's like, give it a go, Mars. Just
Say
give it
that
a go.
again. Say that again.
The
Honestly.
investment, yeah, in all seriousness, it's like, it's about me.
That's
I've
so
only got this
important.
one. I've only got this one temple. There's no, life doesn't repeat. We don't get another second chance. We're only here once. So it's like, okay, what can I do this month to change? What am I going to change? What am I going to do differently? And I know the weeks when I don't eat great, or I've rushed home from work late, and I haven't got a good balanced meal. And the day that I start to do things like more fresh stuff,
Yeah.
difference.
Hello. How are you? I'm back. Karen Arthur. It's Karen Arthur here. Welcome to season 5, episode 2 of Menopause Whilst Black, the podcast that is committed to sharing the stories of Black women, Black people experiencing menopause in any stage, primarily based in the UK. As I said, my name's Karen Arthur. I am a broadcaster, a fashion creative, a grandmother in her early 60s, and lots of other things in between that you either know or you will find out during the course of these episodes. So you'll just have to keep listening, won't you? I've got my tea, my lemon tea, and I'm in my dressing gown again. Which I love because it's colourful and yellow and it's got flowers over it and it's vintage and it reminds me of my friend Nicola Brearley, who owns the shop I bought it in, Little Sister Rocks in Peckham in South London. That's enough rambling. My next guest is a beaut. This woman, I'm going to call her a party starter, a party animal. We've only met once, and I'm excited for you to hear the wonderful things that she does and hosts within the menopause community. So whatever you're doing, wherever you're listening, I hope you enjoy. And as usual, I will see you, hear you, you will hear me. Let me get some words out. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, bye. Welcome to Menopause Whilst Black, season 5, episode 2. Today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Marcia Jones, and she started Sister to Sister BU in her front room 21 years ago. It started as a monthly Friday girls' night in. It left the front room and has been in the community since 2016. The ethos of Sister to Sister BU is inspiring women to better their well-being, confidence and self-esteem. Marcia is a woman of faith, a wife, mother, grandmother, a menopause warrior and champion, speaker, community connector in the borough of Lambeth, London. Has counselling experience, loves connecting women around all things well-being, and has a passion to see all women become who they can be. Marcia launched her successful menopause support group in October 2020 during the height of the pandemic. This group has been a lifeline to all who attend and continues to thrive. Sister to Sister BU hosts wellbeing days, events, and an annual spa weekend retreat in September. Marcia, welcome.
Hey! Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. We're here, but the timing is right. We're here. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. We were saying before I started recording that I had asked Marcia to be on the podcast, I think possibly the season 3 or season 4, and all sorts of reasons it didn't happen. I was busy, she was busy, it just wasn't working. And Marcia was just saying nothing before its time. Nothing before its time. So it feels great to be 100%. Sitting here about to have our conversation. So here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
So Marcia, tell us about yourself. Who are you outside of all the things I just read out? Who are you outside your title?
Oh my gosh. Now, I've heard this question asked of all your previous guests, and it's like, I'm going to speak from the heart. So, who is Marcia? Marcia is a woman who loves life. Interestingly enough, my personality didn't start like that because I was very shy. I was very introvert when I was younger, very unsure about myself. But over time, I've just gradually just been able to love myself, love life. I'm great at organizing. People just love me for my brains. Sometimes I should charge really, you know. Oh, Marcia, can you just, Marcia, can you just, and it's never just, right?
It's the just, it's the just in front of that it's not going to be a just.
But more than anything, I've learnt as I've got older not to take things and people too seriously. But to really, really, really anchor myself and hold on to my peace a lot more, because that is so key, so important. Outside of menopause, that is really important to hold on to those bits of me, learn to love me. Because when I think back to when I was at school, I thought, I would be 5'6", 5'7", size 10, and all of that. But after I had my second daughter, I lost half an inch. So I'm now 5'3".
Oh, wow.
And don't gain that height. And over time, I've learned to love me and just enjoy Marcia for who I am. And also, I'm now comfortable in my own skin, which is such a better place to be. When I think back to growing up, it wasn't like that. I could never say these words with the assurance that I can do now.
And that assurance shows. It's funny you say that you're 5'3", because we met for the first time back in April when Black Girls Guide to Menopause came over on their tour, and we held our event together in Southeast London. And I didn't realise 5'3", you come across as much taller. So that's going to be your assurance, I suppose, and your confidence. And when you said 5'3" just now, I was like, no, she isn't. She's 5'7". So isn't that interesting?
It is. I lost the half an inch. I blame my youngest daughter, Ruth Ellen. It was her fault. It was her fault.
So, Marcia, what is your heritage? Where are your parents from?
Yeah. So on mummy's side, Jamaican. And on my birth father's side, Barbados.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm a Bajan. And I was blessed. My husband Howard and I were blessed to go to Barbados for the first time 9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I had a whole load of cousins that I didn't know, never met.
Yeah.
But we connected through letter, through my aunt who has since passed. And they're adorable. And by God's grace, I'll be going back next year. I rang them in the summer and they were screaming down the WhatsApp. I'm coming next year, guys. I'm coming.
Good. I love that. Oh, that's brilliant.
And when we connected, it literally felt like I was whole again, because I always grew up knowing that I had this extended family, but just couldn't piece it all together.
Yeah.
So it was so good to meet them. And it's so interesting, the resemblances in the family bloodline, which you just don't know. And it's like, wow. So I've got my adorable cousins in Barbados. Yeah.
That is something very powerful about meeting family in your country of origin. There's something very powerful about that. It's like coming home, even if you weren't brought up there, even if you don't know a lot about it. There's something about it that makes that grounds you, I would say.
Yeah. So born in London, southwest London, but grew up in Ladbroke Grove. So I always told people, no, I'm not a South Londoner.
What's wrong with South London? Nothing wrong with South London, love.
So went to school in Kilburn, grew up in Ladbroke Grove. So the carnival was very close to us.
Right.
Where I grew up. So that's right. And people are quite shocked. So, I said, no, wasn't brought up around here. But, but it's so good over the years, to see how life has evolved and changed. And I'm still in touch with a group of our school friends. We're still in touch, which is
beautiful.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, which is lovely.
So I'm going to ask you the question that some people get, a little bit about, but I think it's something to be proud of, but it's up to you. How old are you?
I'm totally fine to answer that. I'm 58.
Okay.
So I'll be 59 in February. So 58
Fabulous.
years young.
And the money question, Who taught you about menopause? I love that. That's a great response.
Oh my gosh. So
Do
Karen,
tell.
It's interesting since doing this, this conversation comes up so often. Me and my girlfriends and even my sisters, we talk about it a lot more now. And do you know what? Nobody.
Yeah.
I remember when I was at home growing up, I'd see mum with her fan and it would be, "La dada, open the window, me hut." And then the next minute, "La dada, close the window, be cool." So, and I was like, "What's wrong with mum? Why is she doing that?" But he would just do it.
Yeah.
And then I grew up, so I'm from a faith background. So growing up in church, you would see all our aunties and our mummies with their fans. But the M word was never mentioned, never ever. All I heard was me going through the change. They would always say that. But none of us younger ones understood. We didn't have a clue what that meant. We were change. What changed? What's changing? What's changing? So we knew about periods and puberty and growing up, but no, not in my circle at all was the word ever mentioned. So yes, it was really hard to realize. And then, of course, as we grow older, and then it hits us like a ton of bricks a lot of the time, it's like, oh, okay, yes, I remember seeing mum do this and these funny things, or her behaviour was a bit off. She'd be shouting at dad one minute, shouting at me the next, get the belt the next, so not really understanding that there was all of this going on in her mind, in her heart, in her body. And she was living with this, not even understanding it herself.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. When we think about what our mothers went through, knowing what we know now, and how we could have helped, how we could have supported. Yeah. And I suppose that's why this conversation is important, why these conversations, are important. So where are you on your menopause journey?
Okay, yeah, so 10 years in now. And I remember the whole thing like it was yesterday. So I'd reached my 48th birthday, gone past, and my periods had stopped.
Okay.
And then I didn't see them for a while. Now, I didn't calculate how many months down the line. But I think roughly maybe 5-6 months. Okay. I said to my husband, "Babes, I haven't seen my period for ages. I think I might be pregnant."
What was his response to that?
Do you want to know what my darling husband said?
I would love to know.
"Shall we tell the kids?" I said, "Don't you dare."
48, Lord.
And interestingly, our eldest daughter was pregnant at the same time. I thought, no, there's no way this could happen.
Wow.
So I remember looking at my body shape over the months. It's like, no, I'm not pregnant. And then I think started to do some research.
Yeah.
But I didn't connect all the dots, but realized, something's happened here. Something's happened. And then I had all these symptoms bit by bit. And then I think the worst was the night sweats started. Yeah. Again, not fully comprehending what had changed, what had happened. The bloating in the tummy, the weight gain, sleepless nights, the hot, cold. And then I went to my GP. I thought, let me go and talk to him and stuff. And I kid you not, Karen. And again, even 2023 present day, I'm still hearing this from women in my support group.
Yeah.
Sat down, told him my symptoms. He didn't even look up. He just took out the pad and just started writing. So I said, "Hold on, doctor." Well, I said, no. I said, "What you?" I said, "What?" No, I put my hand up. I said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
"Oh, I think you're going through menopause. Let me write it." I said, no. I said, "We haven't even had a conversation. How can you be writing a prescription and you have not asked me one question?" So I said, "You know what? It's okay. Thank you." And I left. Yeah. So I don't know where this came from. I thought, let me speak to another doctor. I spoke to my husband's doctor, who is a listener, who is amazing.
And that's what you need, isn't it?
Yep. I just needed someone to listen. Yeah. Am I going mad? Which, again, present day, I still hear ladies in my group still utter those words. And he was brilliant. He said, "Marcia, it sounds as if you've started with menopause." Completely different response. And he spent almost 20 minutes with me, that consultation. He said, "Listen, do what you can, manage your weight, manage your diet and your nutrition, keep on with your exercise, take natural remedies. He said, do all you can. He said, then come back when you are ready. Love him to bits.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then as the years went on, it just got worse. So I was getting up for work a complete and utter wreck because I couldn't sleep. You know, it's like two hours here, an hour and a half there, and then you're up, bedding soaked, nightwear soaked, changing of the bedding, you know, so all those familiar symptoms, but not realizing that there was other stuff going on for me as well.
Yeah.
Like the brain fog. And again, it took me a while to connect those dots. And so it wasn't until 2021 I started to consider my options. And of course, we were in pandemic.
Yeah.
So then I started to listen to a whole load of podcasts. So then I opened my Spotify. Other platforms are available. And and there was a wealth of information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, let me start listening to these podcasts. And it's like, I get it now.
Yeah.
And also I was able to do my own research because you trust your family doctor, right?
Yeah.
So you
That's
think
what we're
that they
taught.
are the expert. That's what we're taught. And I now know that not all doctors or GPs have menopause or specialists in certain areas. And that's what they are. As me and a lady from my menopause support group were having the other day, they are that, general practitioners.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
that's
like
exactly
100%.
it.
They are general practitioners. So then I did my research, and then a friend of mine told me about the patch, which I was unfamiliar with. And this was back in 2021. And she said, Mars, that's what I take. You know, and of course I started to listen to other podcasters who were talking about you could take the patch or the gel and different methods. It's not ingested into your system. So something for everybody should you choose to go down that route.
Yeah.
So then I went back in 2022 with my list of questions. I did my research back to my same doctor, my husband's doctor. And he was brilliant. Again, a 5-minute consultation lasted 20 minutes. And he was very impressed with my questions. And I came and I said, you know, I'm considering the patch and I understand it does this and da-da-da-da-da. But we had a really positive but insightful conversation. And he said, okay, I'm going to give you this patch. So I said, you know, what about the, in terms of, you know, just trialing it?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, come back in 3 months. Any side effects, you come straight back here.
Yeah.
So did it for 3 months. And within 2 weeks, Karen, the first 2 weeks, my sleep came back. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I slept like a baby. I woke up thinking, did I get up in the night? Did I go to the toilet?
Yeah.
And then the hot sweats, everything just came down within 2 weeks. So those were the first two things for me that changed. Big shift, big shift. So I still do other things with that. And then I went back after the 12 weeks check up. And then he gave me another 3 months, went back. So that was 6 months. And then he gave me the repeat prescription. And he said, any changes, you come straight back here. He was amazing. He was truly amazing. So last year, March 2022, I made the decision that this was right for me.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's such... Okay, there's so many things you said that I want to go back to, but I just want to talk about the important... Two things. First of all, the importance of having a doctor who listens.
Yeah.
You know, that your experience is not the experience of everyone. That's as you said before, not everybody, not every doctor, not every general practitioner has to, you know, take menopause training, but more and more people are taking it and more and more people do have knowledge. But the other thing is knowing yourself as well. You went in armed with information. Yes. When you know, the first doctor, your doctor you met, you were like, nah, we're not doing this. Let's go somewhere else. You exercised your right of choice. That's important. You know, sometimes we sit in front of the doctor and it's taken us so long to get there. It's so difficult to get an appointment that we sit down and when they say something and it doesn't quite match, you just think, well, I haven't got a choice, and we have got choices.
We do,
you know? But also, you know, being able to go back to your doctor, have those conversations. He clearly extended, you know, the appointment you had, because 20 minutes, it's a double appointment. And that's the other
100%.
thing I need to say is that when you call the doctor, you can ask, you know, if there's a double appointment available. So you get, so you don't feel rushed, you know. I think that's incredible. I am very interested in your partner's reaction to the different things that were happening to you. I mean, because I want to acknowledge that what you've explained, we hear
Yes.
these lists reel off, don't we? We're used to it because you work with women. I listen to other
Yes.
people's stories. So we're used to people reeling off night sweats, waking up tired, brain fog. And it's almost like you come anesthetized.
Yeah.
What's the word? Numb. Yay.
That'll do.
Let's words of one syllable, please. To those, but we underestimate how debilitating
Yeah.
these symptoms are. And it's
100%.
not, we soldier on and we soldier on. And
100%.
I'm so happy that you were able to make choices for yourself and that they worked.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And even in my group, I say, ladies, find yourself a listening GP is so important, because you said it takes us all enough courage, already feeling rubbish, already feeling like I've lost the plot, to get into that chair and to have that conversation in the first place. For my husband, it was a case of gentle conversations about the menopause.
So would you start them or would he start them? I ask because a lot of men are, starting to listen to this podcast, are starting to listen to their partners, to their colleagues who are going through menopause.
Yeah.
And one of the things they're saying is, I don't know how to start the conversation. I don't know. So how did you do it? How did you do it?
Yeah, so it would be basic. It would literally be, so if I woke up, so before choosing to take HRT, Karen, it was literally waking up and having another really bad night. And I would say, babes, I had another bad night. He said, oh, what happened? And I said, it's the sweats and everything. I say, look, feel me, I'm soaking wet. Look at the bed, we've got to change it again. So it was him as well, not understanding, and me not understanding.
Yeah.
But he did show levels of empathy. But there were times when the brain fog got even worse. He lost the empathy. So it's like, I think you've got dementia. I think you need to go.
Cheeky bugger.
You fierce it. And it was, and that really offended me. I thought, I haven't got dementia. I know I haven't. This is something else. And as I was starting to do my own research, I saw the word brain fog, although I'd heard the phrase, but it's like, oh, that's what's going on for me.
Yeah.
So every now and then I would say things to him, and we'd sit and we'd have a chat. And then the mood swings. So I had a bout of that. I don't know for how long, because like my daughter would say, oh, mum, that was a little bit,
Yeah.
So I would have to, I need to catch myself. It's like, God, I really need to just be careful how I respond, how I react. And it would come without any warning. It really would.
Yeah.
As we know, because the fluctuation of the lack of everything has depleted and is depleting. Everything's going downwards, everything's going outwards, so there's this massive change. So this physicality of change going on, as well as this mental change and emotional and psychological change. And it's only since doing the menopause support group, doing my own research and understanding why, it's like, I have a better handle on myself now. I really do. I wish I had it back then, but nothing before the time.
Absolutely.
So in terms of mood swings, those are quite controlled, I must admit. And I heard this phrase the other day on Good Morning Britain. I checked myself before I wreck myself.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And so it's like me now learning to just stop and pause and just think of how I respond rather than be reactive.
Yeah.
Or just like bite my tongue.
Yeah.
Because
it sounds to me like you really know yourself very well. But you also said that you haven't always been like that. You were quiet, Marcia. So what? I'd love to know. Do you know when you changed? Do you know when you stepped into yourself, if that makes sense? Yeah.
So growing up, I was one of those who had a lot of verbal abuse. So you'll never be loved by anybody. You won't amount to anything. Why can't you'd be like so and so and so and so. So I grew up hearing that all my life. But one thing I did do, and again, I don't know what was, the inner of me, but I know that it was through the help of God that helped me with this. I just let it wash over my head. It's like, and I kept saying to myself, and I repeated this over myself, no, that's not me. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to be that person.
Yeah.
And for those of you who come from a Caribbean heritage, you know what it's like. Our parents, through their hardships and their struggles, they literally repeated without realizing a lot of the behaviors that they grew up with, and a lot of the cultures and customs that was foreign to them. But they then impressed it on us without even realizing the damage that was being caused.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I met my husband, actually, when we got married and so forth, so unsure of myself, that he started to sow things into me to really make me see myself very differently.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said so.
Beautiful. No, I won't. We'll
And
keep
he-
it to between ourselves. It'll be our little secret. Don't worry, Marcia. It's fine. It's fine.
And he really, without me even realizing, so even that for me was a struggle, but even without me realizing, he was able to encourage me to own who I am, own what I have and what I have to give. And bit by bit, I just started to organize these little events. So we would always do things in our little groups, and we always had people in and out of our homes. We'd have groups run on a Friday. So whether it was a cell group or a social, Marcia and how to do another social around
You love to party. You love to party.
Yeah. So we were always connected to people. Always, our home was always an open home. So by just those gentle steps and connecting with some amazing women in my life who sewed into me when I was much younger, I give, all credit to them as well. So because of that and being sure of myself and having my faith, I was able to really see myself transform.
Yeah.
And I'm saying all of this not to say that I'm by any shape or imagination perfect at all, because I'm not.
You're human.
But I'm human. I'm in a different space and better understanding of people. So, for example, I was not tolerant of people at all. If you were late, a minute late, I'd go for you. I'd go for you. And I remember one day I was meeting a friend and she was late. I was waiting by the Oval Tube station. We were going to an event. I'm thinking, she's late, man, she's late. And I was really, and this was before mobile phones were really a thing.
Of course.
And she came, she'd broken down. I felt so embarrassed because I let off on her without even checking. And she's like, Mars, I'm sorry, but I broke down, babes. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was the very last time I ever did that to anybody, because I thought I need to check. Something may have happened to that person.
Yeah. Thank you.
So it's important that we check ourselves, and because something genuinely could have happened.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
It's just about being kinder to people and more understanding.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And even more so when people are going through all sorts of things, and menopause is one of those things, You told us about, you knew menopause was kind of starting because, your periods had stopped. You thought you were pregnant. And, and then other, night sweats and your hot flushes and things like that. And you've talked about discussing menopause with your partner. How is menopause perceived in your family? I'd love to know who else you spoke to. Like if you were at work, for example, did your work colleagues know about it? If so, did they support you? How did you gather people around you, other than, obviously you were doing your own gatherings, weren't you? You were having Party Central at Marcia's, but what about, I don't know why I wasn't invited, but anyway. But
we haven't met.
This is true. What about your wider circle in terms of work colleagues, friends and family?
Interestingly, it took a while before the conversation started with work. And I would say that more or less happened literally in the past 5 to 6 years, to be fair, when I think back to my circle. So it was more my girlfriends and my sisters outside of work circles that we gently started to have the conversations. And then you realise, oh my gosh, there's quite a few of us. Oh my gosh, there's another one. Oh my gosh, there's another one.
Yeah.
But it was just the freedom to have this conversation. And it literally would start off with somebody saying something like, oh, I had a really bad night's sleep last night. I think I'm going through the menopause.
Yeah.
And then it only took one of us to say that. Yeah. And then you just felt
floodgates. Yeah.
You just felt this sisteraderie just erupt in the space.
What's that phrase? Sisteraderie. I've never heard that. Go on.
I made that one up.
Sisteraderie. I love that. Okay. We have a new word in the dictionary. Collins. Let's put it in there. Sisteraderie.
Because, and then people felt safe to open up. So yes, my daughters are really proud of what I'm doing. So we talk about it a little bit more. Even my granddaughter, who's 10. So Nana, have you got your menopause support group tonight? When is it happening? You know, so we just have that little gentle conversation, because what I don't want, again, and to continue perpetuate this thing that the next generation don't know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because even at the library where we meet in Streatham Library, every month I get people just wandering by and, oh, what's going on here then? And I remember this guy was looking at the flyer and he said, oh, can I tell my wife about that? She really needs some support. So yeah, please. My name's Marcia. Please do pass on my details. Yeah. He took a screenshot. And then a young man was walking past and he asked me as well, oh, what's going on here then? And so I explained about the group. He goes, oh, no, that's not for me. I said, do you think so? I said, why do you say that then? So he said, oh, that's more for the women. I said, okay. So I said, have you thought or considered that maybe your mummy or your aunties or your sisters, if you've got sisters, this is something that may happen to them one day. I'm not saying to everybody, but do think about it. And he stopped and paused and looked at me and he's like, oh, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. You know, so I thought, even if it's just that one little gem for this young man who, I don't know, he may have been late 20s or late teens. I had no idea, but he was just passing and curious as to what this group of women were doing, gathering in the space, you know. So every opportunity I can, you know, to just share a word or drop a seed that people know that, you know, it's actually a community thing. Yeah. So we still need to get past this thing that it's just a woman's problem or women of a certain age. Because you still get people thinking that it only happens to you in your 50s.
And I think more and more, I think this year particularly, there's more and more talk about menopause and more men are asking questions.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing, certainly when I'm giving talks or I'm in gatherings, you know, there is, you know, whereas before there would be no men at all. Now there are smatterings, and obviously with it becoming part of the workplace. How will your workplace, once you started to talk about it, do you have like have you started anything, or has somebody else started a mess, or is it, you know?
In my last job, so I was there for almost 15 years. I left last year, change of career. You know, the conversations were starting and the fans started to come out, you know, so we all started to feel a bit comfortable. So we didn't start anything. Then just before I left, the menopause policy started, and they actually asked me for my advice because I had my group by then. So they were really happy for me to contribute to a few things.
Fabulous.
And then the new job I was in, the actual office created things like fans. There were fans on every desk.
Wicked.
There was aircon, you know, so they made it, you know, and they had a policy as well. The job I'm in, I've been there a few months since May. So I'm watching and going, there isn't anything yet. But Marcia's
it's coming.
It's coming. It is coming. And interestingly enough, me and my other two female colleagues in the office, we talk about it every week.
Good.
You know,
so it's
and there's a good, so it's a real good, again, it's a lovely conversation, and it's not me that starts it all the time. You know, it's good that we could just naturally talk about it. So they're in their mid-60s. So they're a little bit older than me, but totally fine. And we say the same thing, that we're growing up, didn't have these conversations. I remember seeing mummies and aunties suffering. We didn't know what was going on.
We didn't.
Just the lack of knowledge and understanding just was not there. I remember saying to somebody the other day that I remember growing up hearing about women being put into asylum homes.
Wow.
For going through the change.
That doesn't
because they thought they were
me.
mad. Yeah, because they thought they were mad.
The slightest.
Yeah, and that's horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Yeah.
I'm glad. And if you think about how far we've come, Marcia.
Yes.
Even in the last few years.
Yeah.
You know, we're well on the way to normalising the conversation. And hopefully we're well on the way to diversifying the conversation as well, which is why I feel these conversations are important, because we don't want anybody left behind.
No.
What have been your most interesting or debilitating or fascinating symptoms?
I think the worst was the sleep, lack of sleep. But now that has been corrected. I think for me at the moment it's the brain fog.
Really?
Because there will be times when I literally catch myself mid-sentence and I cannot remember what the hell I just said.
Yeah, that's my life.
Or where I was going
Yeah.
to say. So I have a notebook for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Around the house.
Yeah. It's an interesting, it's common. I think in the past I would be embarrassed about it. And so that would make me more anxious, which means there is no way I'd be able to remember the word. Whereas now I was teaching a dance stretch, my breathe and stretch class this morning. And I realised that often I will say, what is this? And point at something, or I'll describe something and somebody just fills in the sentence. It's not, no one else is worried. They understand what you mean.
Yeah.
And once I let go of that anxiety around it, it's like, well, I'm going to forget. And that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think anxiety around appearing like you don't know what you're doing can exacerbate symptoms.
Yeah.
And it's really important to try and, relax around them.
100%, yeah.
You said when you went to the doctors the second time, your husband's doctor, he said diet, exercise, and natural remedies. Did he tell you what remedies to take, or was that your own research? And then what did you do?
I did ask him. I can't remember what his response was to that, but I did go and do my research. So I did try things like black cohosh. I tried different herbs and turmeric, and so then I started to read up on foods and also the foods that are no-nos, that really are triggers. I don't drink alcohol at all as a lifestyle choice, and I'm on medication. So I know a lot of my girlfriends who drink red wine, and they didn't connect it until I started to have my sessions. Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I'm so hot when I finish my red wine.
Yeah.
So, and sugars.
Yep.
And spicy foods. So anything like that, that's a flare up. And also, so learning little tiny things. Okay, so let me see if I can cut out this week. Let me try something else in the month. Let me try something new. What can I do to help? So things like moringa and things like that. And just, just helping these little things. And I say to everybody in my group each month, and I always have this conversation with ladies, that no two women are going to be the same. So it might work for you, 100%. But it's not going to work for you, because some people think it's like hair products. Try this, you'll have curly hair. No.
Yeah, no.
It ain't going to work.
Exactly. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. Our hair textures are different. You've got coarser hair than mine. Mine's very fine. So my coils won't drop the same way. So it's like everything in life, that let's always be cautious to say this may work for one or two of you, but the same dosage, the same type, the same frequency of how you take it is not going to be for everybody. It's like, again, this one size fits all thing.
Yeah. And we need to be patient too.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
that's the biggest lesson I've learned. I wasn't on HRT for a while, and I wasn't going to take it, actually.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I thought, well, I've got a window of opportunity. They say that it's best to start it in peri-menopause, but I was way past that.
Yeah.
And I thought, let me see, because I was having hot sweats and, weight gain and things like that. But I was also exercising, and I'm a pretty healthy eater. But once I started it still then took me over a year to tweak my dosage, get it to what suited me. And even if, when with supplements and things like that, supplements don't work overnight. So you've got to you've got to be in it for the long haul, I think.
Got to, yeah.
And it's
to
not
see
like,
the adjustments.
I'm going to get to, 55 and I'm going to look like this, or I'm going to, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You've got to go, okay, so how do I want to feel until I die? And so let me try this. Let's work. And like you said, for some people, spicy foods aren't a problem. I know alcohol is an issue for me. I drink a lot less. But if I do have alcohol, I know, or certainly I knew in the past, that a hot flush was coming. It was on its way. I could count it in, So, that's definitely a lesson, is to be, patient, certainly.
100%.
And of course, you mentioned moringa, you mentioned black cohosh. Would you go to with these supplements? Would you go to the health food shop? How would you get them?
Yeah, so a bit of both. So supplements, the health food shops, And also going to different events, I became more aware. So I would tend to head to these natural remedy,
Right.
presentation
Yeah.
tables. So I've tried different things. And again, it was the investment in myself.
Yes.
It's like, give it a go, Mars. Just
Say
give it
that
a go.
again. Say that again.
The
Honestly.
investment, yeah, in all seriousness, it's like, it's about me.
That's
I've
so
only got this
important.
one. I've only got this one temple. There's no, life doesn't repeat. We don't get another second chance. We're only here once. So it's like, okay, what can I do this month to change? What am I going to change? What am I going to do differently? And I know the weeks when I don't eat great, or I've rushed home from work late, and I haven't got a good balanced meal. And the day that I start to do things like more fresh stuff,
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
When I did my green juice last week, I hadn't done that for months. I felt the difference, So it's about these little things, these little steps. And of course, there are the days, and if you're going to have that pudding or whatever, go for it. Don't give yourself a hard time and be over religious on it, because we're humans at the end of the day. So yes, every now and then you can have that sweet treat, but just know, if you do it for more than one day, you're barely going to pay for it.
And knowing, this life is for living, isn't it? So you're living in the moment. So if you, like you said about, sweet treats or whatever, you still want to enjoy your food. I think
Yeah, of course.
there
Yes.
are too many people walking around, starving themselves or trying to
Yeah.
get back to the weight they were or the person they were. You're not going to be that person,
No. No.
So I 100% agree with you. And that investing in yourself and understanding that you're worth it. You are so
Yeah.
worth it. We're
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
used to putting other people in front of us,
Yeah.
that this is a time to really recognize that we deserve more.
Yeah.
We
100%.
deserve
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. We do, and it's about the moderation.
Yeah.
Every time it's the moderation of keeping yourself. So like movement, I love walking. So
Yeah.
I do a lot. I do loads of walking. I set myself a target. I've got it on my phone every
Yeah.
day. So I do 7,000. I do 7,000 is my target per day.
Steps, yeah.
But I'm able to do more than 7,000 steps.
Yeah.
And then of course my phone congratulates me and throws all these confetti when I've done it as well.
I love that. Hey, yeah, that's great. Any excuse to have a party in your phone.
But it's just, again, it's those little things. So I belong to two walking groups. One, I used to belong to the We Walk Wednesdays that Angela
Yeah, I
Mars
was going
set
to
up.
ask you whether you did that.
And but because of work, because I don't get home from work till really late now, so unfortunately I've not been able to go. And of course, Maureen Anderson, also from MAM, is also part of that group. So I do miss the ladies because we have such an amazing
I bet you
time.
do.
And again, that sisteraderie of being together, just talking, lifting each other up. No particular subject. The conversation starts from wherever. And then I also belong to the Just Be Women's Walking Group. We walk on Saturday mornings. And we have an amazing time. Again, just being in each other's company. So again, this all started in the lockdown.
Yeah.
And we've kept, lots of groups have been able to keep going because women come together.
Yeah.
We're lifting each other up. We make each other laugh. Sometimes you feel, I'm so tired. I ain't going to then. And somebody in the group will say, get your butt down here. Come on, girl. Come on.
Yeah.
And we're there, and it's just great. But again, it's like it clears the head, it clears the mind. And I so love walking. I do miss my cardio workouts, but whenever I can, I do them here indoors.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a gym person. And I say to the ladies in my group, just do what is comfortable for you. Not everybody likes the gym. I don't. And it's not for everybody.
The point is to move.
What's comfortable, to move, but enjoy what you're doing and enjoy it. Yeah, and enjoy it. Definitely.
And if you don't enjoy it, you won't do it. And I also think what you're saying about having a buddy, an accountability buddy, whether you're walking with them, whether you're exercising with them or running with them, or whether it's a group, like you say, of people. When you're walking and you're talking and you're laughing, it doesn't feel like exercise.
No, it doesn't. And before you know it, you've done a whole hour and a bit, and
wow,
we're back. We've come back round, So that's great, and it's just beautiful. And just seeing nature. I mean, we walk Streatham Common every week, and the amount of new things we saw this year that we never saw. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Grapes. We've seen grape trees.
What,
It's like
in Stratton
it's
Common?
straight to, yes,
Get out.
along people's houses. I've got the pictures. It's like,
Oh, wow.
we've walked past here before. We've never seen this before.
You see.
But it's so beautiful. Just being out, just appreciating nature, you know. But the main thing is, as I said before, we only have this one life. And regardless of what our beliefs and our values are, the key thing is we must be here to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We all have a purpose, every single one of us. And for some people, it takes them a bit longer. It took me a while to find my purpose, but it's like now I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm called to do. And it's like, I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll make mistakes along the way, but that's how I learn. It's like, okay, that didn't work so well last time. Let me try it another way. But not to give up, not to throw in the towel.
And I think on purpose as well, there's this thing around, you have to find your purpose. You have to find your purpose. First of all, your purpose will find you. You kind of lean into it. And also, I'm here to say that there's not just one purpose. You don't have, once you got one, it doesn't mean, that's that. And I've changed so many things, you know, and in my life, and still I follow what feels right. And rather than looking for, you know, for a purpose per se. That's
right, yeah. And I do believe in being at peace about something. So if you've made a decision, you've tweaked it, you've remodeled it, you've rephrased it, rechanged it, and it looks good in your eyes. Because remember, when we're carrying these visions, our babies, we're the one who sees it.
Yeah.
You can explain it to somebody 1,000,001 times. They ain't going to see it. You know, like for me, when I'm doing my events or whatever, I'm there and I can see next year's literally coming in my mind's eye before it even happens, before I've even done anything about it.
I love that.
So it's like I get a sense in my spirit that, this feels right for next year, or I'm going to try this, or I'm going to get that person. Because we need to be able to say, I feel at peace about who I am and what I'm doing and the steps that I'm taking. And that's really important.
Beautiful. It's beautifully put. So, Marcia, do you have a routine? And if so, do you care to share? You've talked about walking, but do you have anything that do you have a way that you get up and ready for the day, if that makes sense?
Yes, I do. I'm a morning person. So my alarm goes off at 5 on the days that I work. So I work 3 days a week.
Lord have mercy.
So I work Tuesdays to Thursdays. No, I do.
Did I say that out
loud? And Karen, I kid you not, unless I'm ill, the alarm goes off, I'm up straight away. And the first thing I do is I stretch and I give God thanks for the day, because anything could have happened to me or my husband or my family during the night.
For real.
And I come down, I make my lemon water, and I had some hot water to it, so I have my lemon in there. And I chop up my fruits, get my fruit bowl ready, and get my water bottle ready with the lemon to take to work. So I do all of that. And then I have my quiet time when I'm praying, talking to God and doing some journaling. So I do that. I love doing that because that really helps to start my day on the right keel. The days when that doesn't happen, oh well.
My routine seems to have fallen off. I think because I've relocated. Those who don't know, I've moved from London to Sussex, and as beautiful it is, I've been doing a lot. I think I underestimated how it would take its toll, and I haven't got back on track with my routine yet. And I notice the difference.
You do,
I notice
100%.
the difference. You know, so I'm aware of the importance of a routine. I used to be rigid about it when I first left my career behind, but certainly I'm looking forward to getting back on that. But I'm also being gentle with myself. It's like if 100%. I get up and I don't do what I plan to do, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. And hopefully I'll see it.
And then and also I love to write. I still write. So I loved sending little cards or notelets. And during the lockdown, that's what I did. So like our neighbours here, I just felt there was 12 neighbours that we know really well. And I just felt to write to them all a little note. Marcia and Howard here, we're just saying how you're doing, do you do shopping doing, how you guys doing? And I like to put in little affirmation cards. And one day, you know, when we couldn't get into each other's houses, I just gently went around and just posted them all off. And I left my number. And our neighbours, they were all so touched by that. They really were.
It is
You know,
touching, and we
it
don't
is.
write enough.
You know,
Well,
I
it's
still write.
interesting. Yeah, we
I still write.
don't used to write letters all the time, but with the
Yeah.
21st century has taken that away from us. And also stamps are really important. Stamps
Mm,
are very expensive. And
yeah.
my grandson, he's 4, he's just started to form letters. And my daughter told me about it the other day, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start to write to him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
know, that's a tradition that we seem to have lost. So I love
Yeah.
that you did that.
I did
Wish I
that.
was your neighbour. I want an affirmation card.
And I still do that now.
I love that.
If somebody comes to my mind, if I can't pick up the phone, I send them a voice note. I'm thinking of you. How you
Yeah.
doing? I'll
Yeah.
send a song. I'll send a reading. I'll send a poem. I'll send anything. And for me, and I know the importance of that because there are a few people that they came to my mind, and I didn't reach out, and the next thing I knew, they died.
Oh
And
gosh,
that is like,
that's sad.
it's
Yeah.
like, and then I think, why did I not? They came to my mind. Why did I not? Why did I not? It's like, okay, there's nothing I can do about that. So now I try and be really intentional that if somebody came to my mind, if I can't pick up the phone there and then, send them a voice note. And when I get around, I'll send them a card or send them a message, a longer message, or ring and say, let's catch up. I haven't heard your voice for ages. Because life has become so busy that, we were talking about it the other day at work when you'd say to your mum, okay, mum, I'm off, I'll see you later. Once your chores were done,
Yeah,
you
you were
come
gone.
back you were gone. No mobile phones. You were gone.
Your
Come
parents
back at
didn't know
6
where you
o'clock.
were or what you were doing.
Mum, I'm going down to John's mum's house, Auntie so-and-so. And, and that was it.
Yeah.
You'd open the back door. The back gate was open. You just walked in.
That's
and you
right.
and your mates would gather and Mrs. Smith would have the sandwiches ready or a little hard food or whatever. And we all just broke bread together. And that was part of growing up. That was part of the community that I grew up with, where that was fine. It was normal. It was just natural to connect, And sadly, because of the world we live in, we've lost the art of that. We really have lost a lot of that. And I share these things with my grandchildren because it's important that they know that there's more to life than this.
Yeah, your phone, absolutely.
So if they ask me for a word, I say, "Where's your dictionary?" "Oh, I don't have one, Nana." "I'll buy you one."
You're that grandma. You are that grandma.
I have my dictionary and thesaurus right next to my laptop. So when I'm working and I'm doing my writing, I don't ask Google for everything. Who was here before Dr. Google and everything else?
Tell them,
Who was here?
Marcia, how do you celebrate yourself? Besides your phone, when you do your 7,000 steps, how do you celebrate yourself?
Oh my goodness. I celebrate myself I try to relax as often as I can. So it might be a good a really nice movie or a little what they call them now, set box or something on TV. I mean, hardly watch any live TV at all now. Hardly. Yeah. So it's hardly ever on. But occasionally I'll sit down and do that, give myself a breather. When it comes to the things of Sister to Sister Be You, I take the month of August completely off. I don't do anything.
I've seen you do that. That's so good.
Every month. Every year I do that, and also January, because January is my year to start the year.
And it's cold. I'm not going anywhere.
You ain't getting nobody come out of their house. So I take those months off and I use it for me. I use it for family time. I use it just to be still and to be you, be me, catch up with family, loved ones, trips. It was beautiful. So lovely. Good. No social media posting, no nothing, no liking, nothing. Yeah. And it was good. It was really, really good. I nearly closed the account, but I just kept an eye on it. Because unfortunately, quite a few people were being hacked, unfortunately, during August. Yeah. And I know, sadly, that happened to you earlier this year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's going on here then?
You have to keep your wits about you.
So it's like, but it was just so lovely to just be able to just switch off and know that this is my time. So I'm quite boundaried like that. I make sure. And if somebody says, "Oh, Mars, can you just," I said, "I'm sorry, honey.
Can you just oh, Mars, can you just have it on a t-shirt?"
So July, no August, September, October, November. December, no January either. So I learned to celebrate myself as a lot more, Karen, because growing up, it's taken me a while to get to that realization.
Yeah.
that it's important to celebrate me. And again, it doesn't have to involve spending cash.
Yeah.
It can just be the simplest things for me, to just relax and to chill and to literally just stop. So there were no late nights at my laptop, my computer, and Howard would come in and say, "Oh, you're not on your laptop tonight, then, love?" I said, "No, not tonight." And we were able to go out and do a few things, and it was just lovely. It was really, really nice.
Good.
To just, have that breather. Important.
Now, Marcia, you love to party. You and, is it Howard, did you say? You and Howard clearly love to party central. Which tune, as you know, I have a playlist on that there Spotify, which is very long now, actually. Which tune instantly makes you want to dance?
Oh, and I thought about this one and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Okay.
And it's Erica Campbell, Positive.
Okay. Have I heard that?
Song.
I don't. It's what usually when people mention records, tunes. I don't know the names, but then I go and look for them to add them to the Spotify list. I was like, oh, I know that dance to that.
You may have heard it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So Erica Campbell, Positive.
Erica Campbell, Positive. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we've reached the end. I have one more question. One more question. What's the one piece of advice you would give to anyone going through menopause who's listening to us now?
I would say, ladies, wherever you are, don't do this on your own. Don't feel you have to carry this by yourself, because we have to change the narrative.
Yeah.
We have to embrace, support, positive help, positive change as well for ourselves. And also the things that have, that we've, there's a lot of unlearning that needs to be done because we've been told so much stuff that is like, actually, that's not correct.
Yeah.
Or that's partially true. And I'm not the same as my sister down the road or my sister friend next door to me. I'm me. So ultimately, don't be alone, but love yourself in the process of your change.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Marcia, thank you so much. As you said, nothing before it's time. This was the conversation that we needed to have. I really appreciate you coming on.
It's been lovely.
Sharing your wisdom, you inspirational person.
Thank you, my darling. It's been a pleasure. Really been a pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
What a powerhouse. Marcia is quite a calm human being. When I met her, I'm still not over the fact that she said that she's shorter than I thought she was. She gives the impression that she's really tall, and I've completely made that up. I was particularly struck by, lots of things. The fact that she's a party starter, the fact that, her and her husband have always been people who've gathered people in the home, which I love. And I suppose it was a natural progression for her to create her group Sister to Sister BU, which, as you heard, takes place every month in Streatham. I really enjoyed hearing about her intentional self-care and that she takes time off in August and in January. I think that's really important. Too many times we power through and we think we just got to get this done. And these are the things that make us ill. So Marcia is an inspiration and a reminder to all of us to choose ourselves. And that final piece of wisdom that she gave us around recognizing that you don't have to do this alone. This is a journey that there are so many of us starting to speak up, but there are still people who feel that they're suffering and experiencing menopause alone. So I'm hoping that wherever you share this or whether you listening to this yourself, do remember to share, because there are still people who need to hear the words of the people, the guests on this podcast, and specifically Marcia's words as well. So I'm grateful to her. On choosing yourself, there are still places to join us in Barbados for the Joy Retreat Barbados, the world's first retreat that is designed and created by a Black woman for Black people in any stage of menopause. This year, I took 10 Black women from around the world to my parents' ancestral home, Barbados, to learn to rest, to commune together, to laugh together, to share our joy and our pain on what has become a life-changing trip for many of them. We've received 5-star reviews, and I'm thrilled and I'm proud because it's my baby. I would love to take 10 more Black people in any stage of menopause to Barbados next year. We will be going from April the 29th to May the 6th. All of the information is on my website, thekarenarthur.com, or you can email me and we can have a little chat or a phone call with no obligation. Email thekarenarthur@mail.com. It remains for me to say, enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, wherever you are, whatever you're planning to do. Answer this question: how will you intentionally seek joy today? In a world where so many people are unable to have the freedoms that many of us enjoy and are privileged to enjoy, I feel it's even more important for those of us who can to look for things that fill us, to continue to share our gifts with the world and to keep going. So, are you hydrating? Are you resting? Are you saying yes with your chest? Are you putting your boundaries in place? Are you looking at ways to relieve your stress? Whatever you're doing, ensure that you are doing the things that enable you to show up and be your best self every single day. I wish you joy and I wish you peace. Have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, and I will see you on the other side. One more thing, I always forget to do this. Goodness me, like, follow, subscribe. We are on YouTube now. The channel is The Karen Arthur, or you can head over to Instagram, Menopause Whilst Black, and on Facebook as well. And if you loved this episode, share it with a couple of people who need to hear Marcia's words of wisdom. And if you love the podcast, why not speak to the people at your workplace, for example, and ask them to add it as one of their resources? Okay, I'm absolutely going to go now. I'm going to finish drinking my lemon tea. Quick sip. No, not yet. I'm going to finish drinking my tea after I've finished this recording. Take care of yourselves, and we'll speak soon. Okay, bye.